as you see, the impact of multi-space activity on people's in the situation of pandemic situation. So this research was began in just when these all restrictions were strict. So it was just near 2 years ago. But I suppose that, of course, the situation changed. Happily, it changed. But you see, very our experience and very facts were voiced to us at the situation are still relevant. And we must understand that the situation, this steals uncertainty, and this actualizes the question of the factors that affect our well-being, especially well-being in crisis and dangerous conditions. So, as we can see, the first research was winter 12-21. And there was a big research. I show only one level. It's a level of personal anxiety, not situation, but personal anxiety. And nearly, as you see, all our people had this anxiety beside the age, beside this social status, besides everything, and even beside the state of health. They were anxiety because they didn't understand what happened. What happened, what is the virus, what is the illness, how to protect it, how to contact with each other, and what to do in a situation of disease. So after some months, it's you can see April, May, we had more experience and more information about the disease, about the protection, and bad and not very bad cases of this COVID disease. So people were searching for information, and as you can see, just after the summer, when it was a little not, they were not happy, of course, but the disease was not so severe. And so the level of personal anxiety decreased. And what was very interesting, that it's beside the age, I must stress this fact, that all the people, young and grown-ups, and just people after 65, who before never used nothing except TV, they began to use internet and search information in internet, and even sometimes compare the information from different sources. So they were eager to understand what information is right. What vaccination is very important, is better, and what prophylactic methods are better. And they saw even people who never compared information, who didn't have such a so-called informational style of identity, they began to search and to compare information. And that's why we think the overall level of personal anxiety to September 2021 just decreased. It was nearly, as you see, less than 30% for all our respondents. What is more interesting, this autumn 2021, the restrictions were not so severe, so people were can meet with each other. They were able to learn and to work not only online but offline as well. And at first, just at the beginning of pandemic situation, they all hate, just hate, I must say, these online ways of learn and work and so on. And after nearly half of a year of such work, many of them understand that in online communication, there are very nice, some very nice sides. So we investigate in use areas the how the multi-active activity, internet, Zoom and Skype, and even I must say virtual space, and how they impact on people well-being. But as I say, they understand that this internet and virtual space have good sides. They understand that, for example, as you can see here, many internet sources and many internet platforms help them even in a good station to maintain well-being emotional state, because they can have wider opportunities for work, for new hobbies. Some people understand they must not go just straight to their neighbor relatives, and for example for their grandsons, and they can see them in Zoom or Skype. And many especially young people understand then that they can see in virtual space new opportunities for making realize their hobbies. To as you see, they dance, they have virtual parties and so on. So they say they answered that it's not very bad when sometimes we will meet, work and learn not only offline but online as well. This when during our investigation, we asked, as I must say, two groups, young people, so you can see 80-25, and aged 55. And we measured their emotional state by GSPI, and a questionnaire big five, not big but small questionnaire big five, and a questionnaire of interests. And this our questionnaire of interests includes such questions as professional interests, hobby, the field of hobby, or the wideness of hobbies, learning, mm, suppose the area of learning, institutes, disciplines, so on. Then it was a group of friends, what it's wide or narrow. It's friends, neighbors, relatives, or in schools, colleges, universities, so on. The very important question was the source of information. As I said before, we understand the people begin to compare information from these different sources, and it was the question from what sources you compare information. As well as was a very interesting question about the future of people themselves, the future of the world, the whole world, and the future of internet. And the last question was the question for how, what is your attitude to frustration of space and time? So I must say that everybody say that in people, oh no, just 1 minute. People doesn't compare sources from newspapers and internet, and they sometimes compare sources, information, not sources, just information from newspapers and TV, but mainly from different platforms from internet. They also use Telegram and networks. So this was interesting that they were like to compare information from different sources, as well as newspapers, networks, and relatives. And very interesting was the answers about the future there, because the despite the age, young and aged people answered that their future maybe not very wrong. It can be happy, it can be interesting, but the future of the world was, if not apocalypses, but not as good as the future of myself. It's a very interesting psychological factor. I will survive, but the world maybe not. So we asked people how they were able to influence the restrictions, how they were able to overcome the influence of the field. And mainly it was situation they learn, they have different sources of learning, online learning, they have different sources of communication, and it was, as you see, just very many of them say that it's virtual space helps them, and they so understand that with the help of internet and virtual space, they can overcome the influence of the field. So then the leading factor just in autumn 2021 was the able to work simultaneously or sequentially in several spaces, a real face, just face in face interaction, in Zoom, and in with virtual space created with virtual helmet. Oh, sorry. So you can see these two groups, the attitude to on and offline activity. I emphasize it was autumn and the beginning of the end of the autumn, beginning of the winter, 2021, just so half a year ago. Just it's you see that information from internet, it was the main source of information. Just beside the age, nearly all people prefer the information from internet. But as we see information from friends, and here include the information from social networks and information with relatives and friends during offline contacts. And so this information is more relative and more important for adults, not for students. And sometimes young people even answered, no, this information is not, we can have it, but we can't direct our behavior by this information. So the real information is internet information. And I must say that these answers emphasize that during pandemic situation, in many aspects, the gap between generations in attitude toward internet just it not escape, but yes, rarely escaped, because in 2 years ago, many parents and teachers say that internet is bad and we can't use it. And just half a year ago, they all of them say, yes, it's good. We must have some information and some profits from internet. And it's of course must give the internet a more moral response, must be more moral response for this information and sources that they give to us. So this communication is also, you can see by internet, by face-to-face or offline, it's just communication with the help of internet is more actual for young people, but not declined by aged people. And the information, the communication, sorry, offline, face-to-face, is just equal for both age groups. So we must see when we asked and researched the answers and the pages at and posts at many nets, we can say that this communication is just different, especially for young people. They have different information at their pages. They have different friends in real activity and network activities. And if in real activity and communication, they are interested in everyday information, mainly at networks, they're interested at very interesting some excellent, I must say, what happened with their friends. And what is very interesting, they all like their photographs in networks, but nearly all of them are not interested as real or not these photographs and this information real or not. They're just interested in information as a whole, and mainly with not everyday activities, as I say. So this also we can see that the work and learning was also regarded as very efficient when some read of kinds of work and activities go online, and some are going offline. For example, trainings, of course, must be offline, and some lectures, mainly lectures, may be online. As well as leisure free time. Some of them kinds of activities can be online, and even parties and theaters and so on, concerts, and for grannies it was communication with their children, and they like to read them fairy tales, for example, and just it was more comfortable to do, especially when the children go to sleep, to read them online and not offline. So you see that it's a lot of benefits from not only on or offline activity, but with mutual activity. So, and what is very good, I must say, that people understand that it's very fruitful to combine activities according to the kind of activity. And so the level of personal anxiety just you see is now just also may, it's not may, of course, it's sorry, it's mistake, but the last research was just in October 22, just nearly months ago, and so the level of anxiety is nearly not more than 20% for many of them, because they understand how to manage with the challenges of uncertainty, of this information about changing choices of vaccination, prophylaxis, and so on. And you see, we think that this the main fact, as we supposed, to understand the benefits of mutual activity, of course, its assumption is the openness to new experience. But it was interesting that this openness, of course, a very important factor. It may be one of the most important factors because people are open for understand the good sides, for example, of robots for many of even elder people. For example, robots in medicine, not only just face-to-face communication in hospitals, but the main factor became for both age groups, for both social groups, was the presence of stable interests, and these interests, mutual interests, give the opportunity and provide the ability to communicate with others regarding the type of space. And it became, as we see, the main factor. And now we are going to create the new program of with the help of virtual helmet of how to enroll people for maybe very severe uncertainty in reality. And we hope it will help them to maintain good, well-being, regardless the situation. Thank you for attention.